Antarctica. It is known by many names, such as the South Pole or the bottom of the Earth. It is the southernmost continent and is home to many types of penguins, seals, whales, and fish. Antarctica is also the home to various research stations and small populations of people and scientists. However, Antarctica was not discovered overnight. Let's dive into the rich history of Antarctic exploration. Antarctica was first thought of by ancient Greek philosophers. These philosophers, knowing of the North Pole, had speculated that a matching South Pole at the bottom of the Earth must exist too, in order to maintain balance. A Roman geographer called Ptolemy believed in this Terra Australis, or southern land, and he included it in his great summary of geography called Geographia. Though there was no proof of the existence of the southern land, map makers and geographers drew a large landmass at the bottom of the Earth for the next 1,500 years on their maps. Interest began to grow in Antarctic exploration in the 1500s. European explorers, sailing everywhere at this time, had begun to think of the southern land and looked for any proof of it. Famous British explorer Captain James Cook embarked on some notable journeys to find Antarctica. His first journey involved circumnavigating New Zealand, but his second journey was significantly more successful. On January 17, 1773, Cook's two ships entered the Antarctic Circle for the first time. A year later, he made it nearly 90 miles from the Antarctic coast before being blocked by ice. He discovered South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands, and is widely known for discovering Antarctica. Cook concluded that he believed in this landmass from his expedition, but dispelled rumors of Antarctica being a hospitable environment to settle on. Cook was only the first of many upcoming Antarctic explorers. Curiosity was still abundant, and hope to find this continent was undeniable. On January 30th, 1820, the first recorded sighting of Antarctica was recorded by William Smith and Edward Bransfield. They sailed through what is called the Bransfield Strait in the Antarctic Peninsula. William Smith also discovered the South Shetland Islands. Some minor expeditions occurred after this until there was a boom in expeditions in the 1890s due to whaling. Countries such as Scotland and Russia also made their way south to track whales. In the early 1900s, expeditions such as Edward Shackleton took place, which sparked an interest in the polar explorer Roald Amundsen. In 1910, Amundsen set off on his journey to find Antarctica. Amundsen and his crew were well organized and very determined, and finally, on December 14, 1911, successfully raised the flag of Norway, his home country, on the South Pole. Part of Amundsen's success in finding the South Pole involved his use of dog sledding on the ice. As you can see, many countries were involved in the discovery of Antarctica. Even America was involved. The following part of the documentary will focus on American explorers and their contributions to the exploration of Antarctica. A famous American explorer was Richard E. Byrd. Byrd was born here in Virginia, Winchester, Virginia to be exact. His family worked with magazines, and he had quite the historical family lineage. Byrd had a normal life in childhood and even served in World War I. However, Byrd's fascination with polar exploration sparked when he was on a naval cruise in Greenland. He wanted to use his abilities with flight to get to the North Pole. His attempts, however, failed. He then set his sights on Antarctica instead, and in 1928, 4 ships were loaded up with 3 planes, and his expedition began. In 2 months, the expedition reached its destination, and Byrd and his crew had to quickly set up a base to live for winter. They successfully made a base, calling it Little America. In 14 months, the crew returned home. Byrd was promoted to an admiral, and many Americans then began to call him the Admiral of the Antarctic. Byrd had not finished exploring, however. He successfully gathered enough funding in 1933 to embark on another expedition, but decided to make a bold statement by living on Antarctica's remote interior during the winter, alone. Byrd nearly lost his life during this and had to be rescued by his crew, who barely made the journey themselves. Byrd embarked on 4 more expeditions before his death in 1957 and made wonderful contributions to the exploration of Antarctica. Other Americans were involved in the exploration too. Many crews came to America and expeditions occurred in the 20th century, though Richard E. Byrd is one of the most famous and well-known American explorers. Near the end of the exploration of Antarctica, there were countries everywhere trying to get parts of it, many bases being set up, and people coming to visit and study it. This inevitably led to the signing of the Antarctic Treaty in Washington, D.C. on December 1st, 1959. 12 countries signed the treaty, which declared Antarctica as a scientific preserve, allowed for the scientific investigation, and prohibited military activity on it. The treaty also dealt with territorial claims from other countries on Antarctica. Once the treaty was signed, Antarctica was a safe place of scientific exchange and remains one to this day. 53 countries use Antarctica as a place of scientific research, including America. America, to this day, uses the McMurdo Station as its home to Antarctic research. Founded in 1956, this station is the home to scientific exchange. The station is currently the largest of all other stations on Antarctica and houses nearly 1,000 people. Other research stations are used too, but vary from country to country. Thank you for watching this Antarctic documentary.